Adding more light to the side of your Indian motorcycle has never been easier with the Spar Side Lights for Indian tour trunks. I'm going to show you right now how to put these on. It's really simple, and I think you're going to really enjoy this. So to get started, the first thing you want to do is take your seat off, and that involves just pulling your side covers. There's a screw on each side, and then you can slide the seat. It'll pop off. On these, of course, you're going to have some wiring in the bottom of the seat to unplug. It's really simple. You can go look at your owner's manual. It gives you a great instruction on how to do that. So with that, we're going to get that done, and we're going to open the trunk and go in there. All right, before we get in the trunk, it's always a good idea just to figure out exactly which is the right and which is the left. So this is the left side here, and we are going to plug it into the harness. So to get these lights to work plug and play, you'll need either the harness or the controller, depending on which bike. We're working on a Challenger right now, and this just needs the harness. If you have a Chieftain model, it needs a controller. For all of the exact fitments for your specific bike, go to Ciro3D.com and just look up the Spar trunk light, and you'll have all the fitments there. Pretty simple to do. So what I like to do is just like I said, plug them in and just make sure that the right side is right and the left side is left. So by doing that, we're just going to check it here, and we can turn it on, and of course I've got the left side. So looks good. I mean, already you want to see that anyway. And then we're going to turn the turn signal on. We know that works. Everything's great. Brake, good. So we're solid. We can go in there and start the rest of the install. Once inside the trunk, first thing you want to do is you want to remove the liner here and just set that aside carefully. One of the easiest ways here that we've found to install these is definitely remove these 4 bolts here for the speakers. That'll loosen up the front of the speaker so we can run the wires in. And then these 3 right here are for that pad. And if we just take those out, it just makes life a lot easier. So we're just going to pull those out of there quick. So those 3 take your pad out here, and then these other ones are just going to loosen your speakers up. Now, when you go to reinstall these, do not use an impact wrench because you will strip them out. Just use a regular Allen. I'm just doing them here for brevity. So you want to make sure that you just put these back in by hand and put them in securely so you don't strip them because they can strip very easily. In order to make room for the wire to go through right here, we need to take out this bolt here. On this particular bike, this has, of course, our Ciro drink holder on here, and this needs to be removed first. I'm going to remove this and show you where the factory bolt would be if you don't have our drink holder. So this just easily removes. We'll just pop that out of there, set it aside. This hole right here, there will be a screw that looks similar to something like this, right? That goes right there. You'll want to pull that one out, and we're going to slide this out just a little bit right here. See this tab? And make sure we can get a good shot of that. That tab right there, that's going to block the wire. It's not needed, so we're just going to trim that off. Little wire clippers like this do a great job of this. Like I said, we're just going to take this tab and we want to get it as flush as we can to this backing area. So we'll trim that off. There we go. And then you just want to clean up if there's any little sharp edges or anything so you don't pinch the wire. Just make sure that it's nice and clean there. All right, now on to the next step. So now we've got this all set to run the wire. We've got this piece cut off. There's a little space there. This little gap, if you just leave this little space here, it's helpful to get the wire to sit inside of there. We're also going to feed this underneath here so it comes through. You want to keep it nice and clear. And make sure the wire isn't all twisted. You're going to want that wire to come in flat right in this area here. So we're going to come through, get that wire flat, and this is where I haven't peeled the tape off yet. I'm just making sure my fit is where I want it to be. So it's going to fit like that. As if you notice, there's a lip on the bottom of this. This just butts up against that lip, and then you just run it so that wire fits neatly behind here, and we're going to run that wire on the next step, which I'll show you, but for right now, we'll do this. Now, I've already cleaned this thoroughly, and that's very, very important. Make sure you're thoroughly cleaning the area before you stick this on. But once you've got the idea of where it goes, then you're ready to peel und stick. So again, you don't want that wire to pinch anywhere. So you just have to be a little bit careful at this point. And what I like to do is kind of hold my fingers behind it a little bit so it doesn't stick right away, and you can tilt it until it gets right up against that edge where you want it. Check the front. That goes up, up. All right. That wire's back where we need it. See that right there? That's important. And then we're just gonna do this for about 15 or 20 seconds, guys. Just make sure you get it all good and stuck down. And once you've got that like that, it's set, then we can route the wire, plug it in, and you'll be ready for a ride in no time. So let's show you that next step of how to route those wires. So we've removed all the bolts, of course, as we showed you earlier. We just want to slide this forward a little bit, the speaker pod, to be able to get this wire to slide underneath and come out here, and that's going to go straight down. So you want to try and, the wire kind of has a direction, so you want to try and keep it from twisting too much. And this will just slide right through like that, right there. And pull this through, and again, you want to just try and keep that wire nice and flat through there, so that when you wedge this down that edge, it fits down nice and cleanly. And then this is going to get routed down underneath, back around, and we're going to put some zip ties on it and run it right down all the way under. All right. So I loosely put in, just finger tight, the 4 speaker screws just to make sure that the wires stay where you want them to stay. It'll kind of keep everything while we route the rest of the wires so that it doesn't move or wiggle. We're going to stick a couple of these keepers on the inside of the brackets. Now you want to make sure that you put these on the inside of the brackets and not to the fender or to anything else, because if you take your tour pack off, you can simply quick disconnect, the wiring will stay with the bracket, and the whole thing will come off, and you won't have to really worry about untaping anything or unwiring. So it's just simple. So these, again, I've cleaned this, and we're just going to put these on in a place where we can keep those wires from pinching anywhere. I'll put one there, and we'll put another one up here in this curved area. So you don't want to get that wire pinched on there if you ever take this off and on again. So we're going to go right up, kind of right there. And make sure these are good and stuck on there, because you don't want them to pop off, of course. And then we just use our zip ties and tie it together. So when you open your box and you have your hardware kit, it comes with 2 Y adapters, and these are what allow you to plug into the harness or the controller, depending on which model you had, as I mentioned earlier. So this bike already has Y adapters on it because it already has some of our other lighting on it, so we're going to plug that right in, but I did want to show you these, and we're going to put a little dielectric grease on the connections before we plug it in. Let's do that right now, and we can get this thing working. So dielectric grease, when I say we're going to put a little bit on, we're just going to put a little bit on. You don't have to get crazy with this. Just put a little bit on there and it'll help from any corrosion. There you go. Just a touch. And this is included in the kit, so it's not something you need to do extra. We'll plug that in there. Now we'll just route the wires and make sure that everything's clear before we put the seat and everything back on. We're going to go back inside there and put all the bolts back in, tighten them back up, double check it, and make sure we're good to go. So as you can see, pretty straightforward, easy install, and go to Ciro3D.com for all of the fitment and to make sure that we have it for your bike. We also have them in, we did these ones with chrome with the red lens, but we also have them in black with the red lens and chrome and black with a smoked lens too. And they work wonderfully with all of the rest of our lighting in our plug-and-play system. So go to, again, Ciro3D.com. I'm Ken, and thanks for watching.